Okay, welcome to the Front Three podcast with myself, Big Will, Coach Dan. Obviously, he's not here, and the prodigy himself, AJ.
Yes,
AJ,
sir.
hi, how you doing, sir? It's
I'm
been a long
well.
week, hasn't
My
it?
partner in crime, he's doing international duty, so unfortunately, I'm holding it down for us all. But yeah, man, I'm good. How are you?
I've been better. That's all I can say. It's been,
Bro. Oh, what was it? Was it Ronnie O'Sullivan losing the snooker? Was it that?
yeah, it was
Yeah,
that. It
yeah,
was that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I really
Yeah.
wanted him to win. Such a legend in the
Same.
game. But yeah, man.
Very much so. So as you can see from our title at the bottom, we're talking all things Arsenal City to begin with. We'll look at the relegation battle, and of course, we'll look at this weekend's games in the Premier League and across Europe as well. But I guess AJ, there's only one place to start, and that's the Etihad on Wednesday. This was built as the title decider, the game of the season. It didn't quite live up to the billing, at least from an Arsenal perspective, did it?
Oh, bro, this was boys against men.
Yeah.
Literally, that is the only word that encapsulates how I felt about the game. I mean, look, going into the game, I did think it would be a tall order for us to beat Manchester City, just because of the form that they've been in. And just when it comes to the business end of the season, they just have the know-how. Like, Gundo turns it on, KDB turns it on, Bernardo Silva, you know how much Pep trusts him in the big games. And then now they've added the mercurial element of Haaland. So, like, as we've been seeing in the last few weeks, they've hit that stride like a juggernaut. Just the machine's well oiled, baby, and it's press on. And wow, did the machine purr at the Etihad this week? It was amazing to see, just how many years apart we are with Manchester City. Not just on the pitch, of course, but like, financially and stuff like that, but on the pitch as well. I mean, look, they were winning 4-1, was it?
Yeah.
And they could bring on Phil Foden, Riyad Mahrez, who just scored a hattie at the weekend. Do you know what I mean? That's the embarrassment of riches they have, and of players they have, and we can talk about how much they spend and all the top players that they buy, but at the end of the day, you've got to assemble them and enable them to fit in the cogs and work how you want them to work. And so, if there's anything I'm going to say, is I have to give credit to Pep. I think it was a tactical masterstroke. As bad as Arsenal were, I think, in some games, sometimes you can be poor or the opposition can make you look poor. And I think for Arsenal, it was a combination of both, but it was more leaning towards the opposition made us look very, very ordinary.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess you just spoke about it there, the tactics. I mean, after the game, De Bruyne talked about it. Stones talked about it as well. I mean, he completely outfoxed Arteta, didn't he? And of course, it was made worse by the fact that Arsenal end up conceding within 6 minutes as well. So any kind of adjustments they were going to make, all kind of
went straight out the window.
Exactly.
In the build up to the game, there was so much talk about how Arteta's going to line up and whether he should go for a free. And of course, those are all great, but Arteta is a very loyal individual in the respect of quite stubborn as well. He will stick with what's worked all season. Most managers do the same. I just think Pep had worked it out. I was saying, off air, I don't think Pep probably lost a wink of sleep over playing us, to be fair. For Arsenal, it was such a huge game.
Yeah.
I think for City, it was just another game to tick off 3 points. Do you know what I mean? And I think that it kind of told in the way they exuded their authority and dominance over the game. Before the game, we heard Nathan Ake was out, and Pep said in the press conference, we'll have a solution. And boy, oh boy, was Akanji a solution. It was just amazing to see little things like, Akanji's positioning and how well he dealt with Saka, Kyle Walker, how well his experience and speed told against Martinelli. And fascinatingly, in midfield, the battle was it was so easy for City. KDB pulled into areas in which it was just almost difficult. Gabriel or Holden had to make a decision whether to come and follow him or let him roam in that space and get Partey to drop deeper. But in the deeper Partey drops, the more other players can come into the game. And it was very interesting. People have been saying, Haaland's just a great striker in and out of the box. But against Arsenal, his link-up play, Pep said, you don't want to call him a one-man dimension guy? I'll give you dynamism. He was coming short. He was linking play. He got the assist for De Bruyne. he showed us a different side to his game as well. And I just think on the day, everything that Pep wanted to do just played up how he thought it would, And so whatever they worked out on the training ground, it just worked perfectly. It was personally, tactically, it was great to watch. As an Arsenal fan, yeah, it was almost like they do what we do, but at such a better level. The press was fantastic from City. It was on. When Arsenal tried to press, we were always about a yard or so off. And then, look, I said it the other day, at an elite level, a yard is enough for you to be destroyed, and we saw that.
Especially against this team.
Yeah, of course, normally against other teams, we look quite comfortable playing out from the back. Of course, we've had some hairy moments, but against City was probably the first time I felt like we were truly suffocated. There was no outball. We couldn't move the ball quick enough to get it out to our wingers. Odie was very, very quiet, couldn't stamp his authority on the game, and it's testament to how City played. They got Rodri on the ball quickly and they build up slow and then inject in the pace. If you look at, Grealish's game, he didn't really do much on the ball, but his defensive output was just outstanding. So overall, I think it was just a great performance from City. Yeah, man. Pep is the master,
He is.
And Arteta is the apprentice.
Definitely. So that's 4 games now, and Arsenal have conceded 11 goals. And of course, we can link this downfall in terms of their form defensively. As soon as Celiba went off against Sporting Lisbon in the Europa League, all of a sudden, defensively, things have gone down. And of course, Rob Holden, he was the target man last year when Arsenal, again, crumbled. This year as well, during crunch time of the season, he's, again, the central figure that, you look on forums, you go on Twitter, everyone's blaming Rob Holden. Just from sort of a tactical perspective, and obviously you've played the game, you played the game as well. The difference between having a player like Holden and Celiba, what does it do to a team, not just defensively, but collectively?
I think if you look at when Saliba's in, we can play a higher line because he's got the speed to recover. So has Gabriel. So I think playing with Holden, we've had to adopt a more of a deeper line, number one. So it means that we can't get up the pitch as quick as we want or put the press on as quick as we want to get up the pitch. Okay, that's number one. Number two, Celiba offers us something different on the ball. He actually takes risks to break the third passing lanes, to get the ball into the forward position so the midfielders can turn and start to dictate. Or he can punch it in and get it back and change the angle. That's something he does really well and really quickly. I think out of him, Gabriel and Holden, he's the better ball player. And even alongside Gabriel, he is the better ball player. So I think we've missed that element a lot. And also, look, the truth of the matter is it's also psychological. I'm not going to sit here and blame Rob Holden, no, because he's coming from the dark. He's got big boots to fill with Celiba. And at the end of the day, when you're part of a defensive unit that has been together for a long period of time, there is a confidence you exude. There's a psychological level to it as well. And for someone like Thomas Partey playing in front of Willie Celiba and Gabriel, he has an assurance of them to you. But now it's Rob Holden, and maybe we might not see it and he might not say it, but there might be a little chink of doubt in his mind about Holden's capabilities and that he's not Celiba and stuff like that. And sometimes that can turn into anxiety on the pitch and how you play and your decision making. You might think again of receiving a pass of him, or passing to him, and it's little things like that. Of course, Celiba's a huge miss. And again, it tells us of our squad depth and how it needs to be improved, especially defensively. And I believe midfield-wise, I think we needed another option in midfield as well against City, something different. And we didn't quite have that. But look, Saliba's a big miss, but a club of our stature, we should have another centre-half who can come in and make a difference. City have Diaz, Laporte, Ake, Akanji. If we want to challenge and be at those levels, we've got to have a rotation of very, very good centre-halves who can slot in when there's an issue. Ben White could have gone centre-half, but then we would have had an issue at right back and so forth. So it's a difficult one for Arteta, but he can only play with the cards he's been dealt. So yeah, it's harsh on Rob because, but maybe he was better when he was bold. I don't know. But he did score. So
yeah, he did. Yeah. And you mentioned something earlier in terms of Arteta. He's very loyal to the players and the
Yeah.
formation. But I mean, what does he do now? Because he's caught in between two things. Yeah, you can say that, well, you need to be loyal to what you've done. That's got us to where Arsenal are at the moment, at top, even though they really haven't got the Premier League title in their
Mm.
hands. What does he do now? Does he stick with the same players, same formation, or does he have to change it? Otherwise, things can just curtail swiftly
Mm.
for Arsenal.
I think it's time for him to twist. The draw against Liverpool can be excused because we're playing Liverpool, whether we like it or not, at Anfield. Do you know what I mean? Still a top team. Whether their form tells us that the table tells us that they're not, they are still a top team with some world class players. So okay, 2-0 up at Liverpool, we draw 2-2. He now gives that same bunch of players to redeem themselves against West Ham, which we thought would be a win, which we would register. That didn't happen. Okay, he gives them another chance against Southampton. It didn't happen. Okay, albeit Southampton, there were a couple tweaks in there, Vieira coming in, etc. But really and truly, it's still the same kind of nucleus, if that makes sense. And then now he has a decision to make. We're going in against City after Southampton. We've shown great character to come back. I'm gonna stick with the same team. There is a formula that consistency across a season bodes good results. But I believe it's time for him to twist. I think Trossard needs to get on the pitch more. I think Reece Nelson needs to get on that pitch as well. He great cameo when he came on against City. Same thing at Southampton. Trossard offers us something different, and he's got star quality in him, and he makes things happen. So I think it's time for a tweak. I think the best time to do it is now. No disrespect to the players who've been doing the business. I just feel like some of them are running out a bit of legs and a bit of ideas. B doesn't look like the same player over the last few weeks. He looks like I don't know if he's burnt out or he needs a shot of confidence. He just doesn't look the same. Marty's an incredibly sparkling form. So, you question whether he should be removed or not, keep him in there. But something needs to change. Trossard needs to come in and Reece Nelson needs to come in just for a fresh impetus, a little bit more of something different, a different feel, and let's see how the boys move. Of course, it's a big game. Every game now is a big game. We have to be almost perfect with all the games till the end of the season. But I feel like there needs to be a tweak somewhere. Arteta needs to definitely find a way to 100% Trossard and probably get Reece Nelson a few more minutes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then in terms of City, they've got 2 games in hand. They're going for the treble. I mean,
was it Gary Neville
right
who
now,
said a
isn't
few months ago that City are struggling?
it?
Hindsight's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
Isn't
Look, City are in control of their destinies. All right, they've got a cup final against Manchester United that their eyes will be on after the Champions League. I think we all know that the bread and butter for them will be to win the Champions League. That's when they got taken over. That was one of their first aims. Many managers have come and failed. Pep has failed as well. But I think there is a growing acceptance that this might be the year in which they win the Champions League. This might be the year in which, they do the treble. I mean, it's not been done by Man City like this, with the Champions League involved. If they do it, they'll be creating history. But with the way they are moving right now, I can't see them not doing it. It's just crazy. They have reached. I think they've hit that point where everything is coming together for them. So yeah, I think it's in their hands. 2 games in hand in the Prem. If they win those 2, they're a few points clear. And you look at the form that Haaland's in. Kevin De Bruyne is scintillating right now, and Pep knows how to manage him. He rested him for a few games, and he's unleashed him again. And so yeah, the Man City train is full steam ahead, and I can't see anyone stopping them. Look, we know Real Madrid have a weird affinity with the Champions League, and when Benzema and Vinny link up, but I just can't look past City. I think they're the best team in the world.
It'll be interesting to preview that game to see exactly what Ancelotti
100%.
tactically ends up doing for sure. It'll be I'm very interested in that. So let's turn tables here and look at the bottom of the league then. So we had our midweek fixtures. Bournemouth had an important win.
Wow.
Nottingham Forest as well. But of course the big result was Newcastle thrashing Everton at home at Goodison Park. And 3 weeks ago we all thought Sean Dyche will keep Everton up, but at the moment it's looking very, very dicey for Everton.
They've just got no quality. I watched the game last night, and do you know what? Truth be told, Everton started very well. They were high press, keeping the ball, but they weren't creating clear-cut chances. It was half chances. The crowd were with them, but you could always tell that they were susceptible to the counter and the goal. And well, when Newcastle got, and this is the difference between the top and the bottom. When you are in that final third, you execute. Everton struggled. Some of the decision making was very poor, and it's just a lack of quality across the whole pitch. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is back in. He had a few chances here and there. Garner Gay had a few chances, but Everton never looked like they were going to score. And even if you saw the goal that they scored, Dwight McNeil scored straight from a corner. It went straight in. But they never looked like they were really going to score. Decore had a few half chances, but they never looked like they were going to hit the back of the net. And that's their biggest problem. And we've said, at the bottom now, it's going to be the ones who have goal scorers will stay up, Yeah. And you're looking at it now, it's looking perilous for Everton. And the fans were turning on them a bit, and it just wasn't pretty. And well, Newcastle just looked like they could score at will. And by the way, Isak's run and assist, chef's kiss. Incredible. But it's looking very, very perilous for them.
I mean, Southampton are just really, they're on 24 points, and you've got Everton on 28, Leicester on 29, then you've got Notts Forest, Leeds on 30, with West Ham on 34, Bournemouth at 36. There we even talk about Chelsea, 11th.
I keep on saying this, guys. I keep on saying this, and people think I'm mad when I first said this, when Lampard got put in position. I said Chelsea will be drawn into a relegation battle because the guy doesn't know how to win games of football anymore. 5 games, 5 L's. It's incredible. And you're losing to teams around you. Like 2-0 to Brentford at home. It just doesn't make sense. And so now you're looking at Chelsea. And the thing is Wolves have gotten themselves out of it with their last few results. Okay. So they've dragged Chelsea into it. This is what happens. And I always say this, football's about momentum. The momentum now isn't with Chelsea. It's with the likes of West Ham and Wolves and Forest who just won. And so now you're looking at the situation here. If Southampton would have won against Arsenal, it would all look, the landscape will be completely different. But now Bournemouth picking up that win, it pulls Chelsea in a bit closer. They say the magic mark is 40 points. They're still a point away from that. Yeah. And that means that anything can happen. I don't think they'll get relegated, but mate, it's scary. Frank Lampard is scary. Chelsea Football Club is scary, and not a good kind of scary. I'll tell you that for free.
So you got Leicester, Everton, Southampton in the relegation zone. Are you thinking these are the 3 that will go down, or do you think Nottingham Forest?
I think Nottingham Forest will get dragged into it, and Leicester will probably survive. So I think it'll be Southampton, Everton, Forest right now. That's what I feel, because I feel like Leicester just have that little bit of quality. Vardy's back scoring now. Iheanacho's firing. Maddison has also been playing well. Tielemans scored a rocket, so maybe that's going to put a rocket up his backside, and he can finish the season strong for Leicester. But one of those, out of Leicester and Everton, one of those two are going down. 100%. One of those big clubs is going down. Their seasons have been too chaotic. And there needs to be a few restructures at both clubs anyway. So
definitely. So then let's look ahead to the games this weekend then. Is there one standout game for you?
You already know where I'm going. Who are Arsenal playing?
Where Arsenal Chelsea's on Tuesday, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Tuesday. Yeah.
This weekend. I think just a relegation at the bottom, just to see. Yeah. I think
Bournemouth versus Leeds is going to be, I think, a big one.
That is season defining for whoever wins that game.
Yeah.
So I think
that's Bournemouth win, they're up. They're staying up.
Yeah, Bournemouth will stay. And it's very interesting if they do win. Leeds' form has been very patchy of late. They can't seem to score goals. Patrick Bamford's missing sitters. I think for me that's the most interesting game this weekend for me personally, because I think because the relegation battle is so tight. So if you can get the momentum and go on a little run of 3 games or so, 2 games, you'll be out of it.
Yeah. Another interesting game as well. Man United at home to Aston Villa, who are surging up the table now.
Unai Emery, I told you, man, he's
that'll
a
be
great manager. You just gotta listen to him. After
yeah.
you decode some of his English, things make sense, bro. I think that's gonna be a good game.
Yeah.
I think Villa will win.
Oh,
I think
wow.
Villa will win. I think United's form again. You know, we saw it the other day. You know, 2-0 up, and they threw it away. You know, Rashford scored. Sancho looks like he's got the grip between his teeth again. But you know, Ten Hag's decision making and substitutions are very interesting. And I think
as
that's
soon as
what threw the
Fred
game.
came on,
you know, he's
terrible.
locking up shop. But why would you do that against a Spurs team who's defensively are leaky as well? You know, why would you try and hold on to what you have? Take the game to them. So yeah, I think Villa will win. I think Unai Emery's in great form. He's a great tactician, and he's getting the best out of this Villa squad. And that's something that Gerrard couldn't do for a certain period of time. But Ollie Watkins is firing on all cylinders. Buendia's in great form, you know. And so, yeah, I think Villa will win.
Yeah. Wow. Big. That'll be a big win for them for sure. And then finally, if we look across Europe, Bayern are playing Hertha, who are rock bottom in the Bundesliga. I mean, if they lose that game, then
brother, crank up the pressure on Tuchel, because it's not been great. It's not been great. No. But then also, look, it's always hard. You come into a big club and you're expected to win. You're expected to make things happen straight away. Listen, he's got to understand the players. They've got to understand the way in which he works. Look, what is it? 5 games in. It's very, it's very, very difficult for him. Okay, personally, I think it's very difficult for him. But the truth of the matter is, he's got to pick up results. And what a great place to do it against bottom of the league. But it could be a banana skin.
Yeah, definitely. I guess the only good thing for them at the moment is Dortmund are drawing 1-1. They can't bottle it, surely.
Oh, Dortmund. You said today I have Arsenal bottle the league. If there's any big bottlers out there, it's Dortmund. Every year they sell us hopes and dreams. Dortmund sell us hopes and dreams every year, and we keep on buying it. But maybe this is the year where we buy it and we're rewarded with a Bundesliga for Borussia Dortmund. I hope so for Bellingham's sake, because it would be a great way for him to cap off an amazing few years there.
Definitely. And then finally, it's possible that Napoli can actually wrap up the Serie A.
Yeah, I saw a tweet from Osimhen stating that, I mean, if they do, what an incredible season they've had. And it's nothing short of what they've deserved. Obviously, coming out of the Champions League the way they did it will hurt them. And I think they're going to give a reaction.
Is there a tinge of disappointment that they went out in the way they did in the Champions League, or is it overall still a successful season for Napoli?
I think it's still, well, let's put it this way. At the start of the season, if you said to Napoli, quarterfinals of the Champions League, what is it, 11 points clear at the top of Serie A.
Yeah.
If we gave you these 2 options, would you take them? They would have chewed your whole arm off.
True.
Do you know what I mean? So I think in hindsight, it's been a great season for them. I think mathematically now they've qualified for the Champions League again next year, which means they'll come again. They've lit up the world of football with some amazing football. And if they win Serie A, it's an amazing season for Napoli. Especially if you look at the teams around them, Juve, your Romas, the Milans, who have now come back with force. It's a great season for them. Absolutely. Maybe a hint of disappointment that they didn't do as well in the Champions League. But again, they didn't have their star striker in the first leg, which is what cost them personally.
Yeah, and sort of that inexperience at that level as well.
Yeah, Milan have the know-how. So
yeah, exactly.
And also, I can't lie. Having the Milan derby in the semi-final of the Champions League at the San Siro before it's demolished. I mean, these are things that you try and simulate on FIFA to happen.
Yeah,
you know what I'm trying to say? So
I'm
here for it, honestly. I'm here for it.
I think we can. I wouldn't be surprised personally if that second leg went to extra time. To be honest,
extra time and penalties. Bro, that wouldn't even surprise me though. It's
Yeah,
written. It's written in the
yeah.
stars.
Probably 0-0 first leg, 1-1 second leg, extra time. No
One,
done.
I'd even say 2-2 second leg, late extra time, goal, penalties,
Yeah,
shaking in your boots.
sounds about right for an Italian
Honestly, and there'll be a red card or two as well, 100%.
yeah, 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 for sure. So that does it for our wrap up of the midweek action and our preview for this weekend's action across the Premier League and Europe. We'll be back next week for another episode of the Front Three. But that does it for me, Big Will, and of course the prodigy himself, AJ. See you next week.